Welcome to Timebeat Breaking News channel. Here are our breaking news today. 1. The EU's stance on US renunciation of patent COVID-19. 2. More than 200 Palestinians were injured in Jerusalem.
European. The EU stance on US renunciation of patent COVID-19. European Union leaders cranked up their criticism of the US call to waive COVID-19 vaccine patents Saturday, arguing the move would bring no short or midterm relief. They instead urged Washington to lift export restrictions if it wants to have a global impact on the pandemic. The French President Emmanuel Macron insisted that giving any priority to discussing intellectual property rights now is a false debate. Instead of joined previous EU calls for US President Joe Biden to start boosting US vaccine exports to contain the global COVID-19 crisis, insisting it was the most urgent need. While the US has kept a tight lid on exports of American-made vaccines so it can inoculate its own population first, the EU has become the world's leading provider, allowing about as many doses to go outside the 27-nation bloc as are kept for its 446 million inhabitants. The EU has distributed about 200 million doses within the bloc, while about the same amount had been exported abroad to almost 90 countries. The EU is trying to regain the diplomatic initiative on vaccines after Biden put it on the back foot with his surprising endorsement of lifting patent protections on COVID-19 vaccines, seeking to solve the problem of getting shots into the arms of people in poor countries. Macron and other EU leaders have insisted that first of all production capacity must be ramped up by, among other things, reconverting factories so they can quickly start producing vaccines through a transfer of technology. Developed nations should also increase vaccine donations to poor countries.
Palestine. More than 200 Palestinians were injured in Jerusalem. More than 205 Palestinians and 17 Israeli police officers were wounded during a night of intense clashes at a sacred Jerusalem site that holds the Dome of the Rock, medics and police said, a serious escalation in a weeks-long rise in violence. Tensions in Jerusalem have soared recently, with Palestinians complaining of oppressive restrictions during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. An upcoming Israeli court ruling on whether authorities can evict dozens of Palestinians and give their homes to Jewish settlers has further inflamed the situation. Tens of thousands of worshippers had gathered on Friday for weekly prayers at the Hilltop Al-Aqsa Mosque compound amid a heavy Israeli police presence. After nightfall, Palestinian men threw chairs, shoes and rocks at officers in riot gear, who fired grenades and rubber-coated bullets at the crowds. By the end of the night, the Palestine Red Crescent reported 88 people were hospitalized, many with wounds to their eyes and face from rubber bullets and grenade fragments. Smaller clashes broke out in other parts of Jerusalem. Israeli police said at least 17 officers were wounded, half of them hospitalized, and a spokesperson promised to respond with a heavy hand to all violent disturbances. Thank you for watching. We help you stay up to date all the news hourly. Please subscribe our channel to follow up the latest one.